What's going on, everybody? Whew, got a show tonight. I'm scrambling to get it all together. There's so much to talk about. So I see that I'm still having issues on X, so I don't know what's going on with that. X has changed their live algorithm. So if you usually watch, actually, I should probably share this, shouldn't I? That'd be the nice thing to do, wouldn't it? So the good people on X don't miss out. But all right, guys, what's up? Got a big show tonight. We have so much. The Epstein stuff just will not stop. It's just ongoing. It's crazy. So be sure to buckle up. I mean, this stuff coming out on Bannon is nuts. I'm just gonna be raw with you guys. It's absolutely crazy. It's shocking. It's shocking stuff, and I just gotta say, I hope there's some 5D chess being played here with Bannon, because otherwise it's gonna be very, very bad for him. Let me put this in real quick. So, but otherwise, we got some great stuff going on today. Trump, some great MAGA news with the climate regulations. So we're gonna go through it, gonna break it down. I gotta tell you something. My coverage of this whole Bannon and Epstein controversy is it's really starting to tick some people off. I gotta say, I'm getting a lot of views. The algorithm is starting to like it on YouTube. It's starting to really pick up these videos, and people are mad. They are mad at me. And all I gotta say, guys, is number one, I don't care what you think. At least not. I don't care what the good people think. The people I know. Well, I'm sorry. I mixed that up. I don't care what the new people think. I care what my friends think. I care what you guys think that have been here a long time, who have been on this journey with me. But I'm just reporting what's out there, guys. I'm just showing you guys what's up, and I'm asking the questions and breaking down my thoughts in real time. So there's a lot that can happen. We are in one of the greatest psyops ever going on. I mean, it is wild right now. Everybody is on full tilt. Ever since Trump went to Venezuela and then went to Davos. Okay, I mean, he didn't go to Venezuela. You guys know what I mean. Got Maduro and then went to Davos. It has been non-stop because they know the system is falling. And it is all out, all assets deployed, destroy this administration. And there's only two options at this point. It is they are trying to destroy the Trump administration because he is actually doing what we all want him to do, or the Trump thing is going to be the biggest scam ever perpetrated on America. I don't see that happening. Too much good is going on. So, I mean, but those are the only options. You guys can make your own decisions on that. I know where I stand, and the more I report on this stuff, I'm going to stay with that. I believe that the one person we can trust in all this is Trump. And that doesn't mean you can trust everything he says in the moment, because the man is always throwing us off. He's throwing people off his scent. He's speaking in code because there's so much going on behind the scenes. But I tell you what, exposure is going to continue. It's going to make more and more people pissed. It's going to scare a lot of people. And as that continues, the psyops will get worse and worse, and it will get more and more convoluted. And because it's going to get more and more convoluted, guys, it's more important than ever to know who you trust, to pick your side. Because if you do not, I mean, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost. And so if at this point, if you still haven't chosen a side, or if you're just sitting on the sidelines, just crapping on everything, it's just not going to work well for you. I mean, it's not. You're going to be left in the dustbin of history. This is wartime. This is not time to be Switzerland. This is time to choose. So just yeah. Anyways, are you guys ready to get into it? All right, listen. If you love the show, if you enjoy what I do, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new, if you like MAGA, if you like getting into the weeds, the nitty gritty, and if you like unfiltered perspective, truth with receipts every time, even if I get it wrong, which is only about 3% of the time, because I have the 96.7% correct record on predictions, which everybody here will tell you is mostly true. But anyways, we have fun. We get into it. Please join in the chat if you want. This is American Fire with Ace, the only show I know of online like it. So subscribe. Please hit that like. We will get started in just a second. Let me say hey to the Chizat, and then we'll really get started. What's going on, Big B? Rum Dog in the house. Wago Waco, Frank Anastasio, William Collins, Z Grooms. Hey, you guys. Vince Feliz is here. Pat M. What's up? D6, Lochtefeld, Scott Volkovich, Marco Sanchez, AZ Tropic, Cruzabarth. What's up, buddy? Ryan Edberg. What's up, man? I really messed up with Ryan today. Ryan and I, anyways, we're going to try to do something special for you guys. Ryan is a great man who also has his own ministry show he does. And so we might be doing a collab here soon. Moody Waters in the house. Christina Abbott. What's up? Good vibes forever. And Christina with the very nice $7 donation. Thank you, Christina. That's so sweet of you as always. I appreciate it. And also a shout out. I don't know if they want their name out there. So a member gave me a beautiful gift this week. Sent it to me in the mail for me and my family. It was absolutely a treat. Wonderful. I still haven't used it yet. That's happening this weekend. But man, what a treat. And just thank you, you guys. This is the greatest community on the internet. It is truly the greatest. We're not the biggest, but we are the best. And I say that with capital B, best. This group, this community we've built here that shows up for the last 3 years is amazing. So if you want to grow and be a part of it and understand what it's all about here, guys, get in the membership. That is where the real connection happens. It's only $5 a month. You get your first month free to try it out, and you can try that out in the description. We had a members live last night where I went 2 hours breaking down what spiritual warfare actually is and how to fight it, and got great feedback. I might actually release that one to the public here in a couple days, but we'll see. Or you may need to be a member to see it. I don't know. We'll see. But members watched it, and thank you guys for your support. Okay, I have filibustered long enough, like Pam Bondi at the hearing the other day. Everybody's going to like or hate that for different reasons. But we'll get to Pam versus Thomas Massey here in a minute. But first, I want to hit up this story, which is absolutely huge. And listen, guys, this is one of those things that regular people, normies, aren't going to care that much about. They're not going to... what's the word I'm looking for? They're not going to pay attention. This isn't sexy. This isn't scandalous. This is just awesome. And it's important for our nation, for our economy. But today, Trump, with Lee Zeldin as his EPA head, repealed the 2009 Greenhouse Gas Harmful Effect on the Climate Act that they got through in the... Anyways, this thing has affected almost everything in our economy. And the Obama administration could not get this passed through Congress, so they released it as an EPA regulation. And this regulation is the reason you have the crappy starters in the cars that start and stop at every stoplight, stop sign. This is the reason you have car prices have gone up from $5,000 to $15,000 per vehicle, sometimes more depending on the size of the vehicle. Everything's gotten more expensive about this because this is the green scam. This is the closest they ever got to getting us to like a net zero policy. And they did it, those sneaky rats did it through regulations, through the bureaucracy. And Trump, after 17 years of this thing running, all of our construction, basically our entire economy, everything having to check in with this nonsense, 17 years, finally had the balls to repeal it. And the question is, why? Now, and I got to tell you guys, because some people are like, why not day one? Why not in the first term? I have a feeling that this is one of those deals that's such a big one. They had to have all their ducks in a row for all the legal challenges that are going to get about to slam them, because this destroys the climate change initiative in this country. Absolutely destroys it. So we've gotten out of the Paris Climate Accord. I mean, Trump's done a lot of amazing things. This is the biggest one that's already been in place. So look for over the next couple of years, a lot of things to get cheaper and a lot of other stuff to get more efficient, especially in regards to energy and vehicles. So very exciting stuff. Huge news. I know we're not, it's not the sexy news, but it's important. So I just wanted to lead with it real quick. Here's Trump real quick. By the way, on the side here, you have an old Q post that says U.S. taxpayers paying for it all. Paris Accord equals scam. Red Cross equals scam. Foreign aid equals scam. War equals scam. On and on. Who audits where the money goes? Who actually receives the money? The hole is deep. It's all scams, right? That's where our money's all going. And again, we just keep seeing how these Q posts way ahead. So here's Trump real quick on it.
Americans who are concerned that the $1.3 trillion in savings does come at a cost to public health and the environment based on science.
I tell them don't worry about it because it has nothing to do with public health. This was all a scam, a giant scam. This was a ripoff of the country by Obama and Biden. And let's say,
how can you not love this man? I'm sorry. I mean, everybody's getting mad at him over the Epstein stuff, which we got to really talk about the Epstein stuff a lot tonight. But the main thing on the Epstein stuff, guys, is, is it a cover up or is he playing 4D chess? Because there's really not much else available in this. So we'll talk about that as we get into Epstein. But let me get through a few other quick stories first. Now, this came out today, and I usually wouldn't share this because it's not like news, but this is actually very relevant to what we're dealing with. The New York Times today, or the last couple of days, put this story out of 7 pages of a sealed Watergate file that sat undiscovered until now. Why is this relevant? Well, I mean, those of us in the know who've been studying this stuff know that Watergate was a scam. It was a scam because Nixon, who, by the way, had just won 49 states, very popular president. We all forget that because we've all been taught he was the devil. But the truth is he was the people's president, man. And he was getting a lot done. Not perfect, but he was getting a lot done. They hated him. It says everyone needs to read this. These new revelations legitimately transform our historical understanding of Nixon. Nixon had conclusive proof. The Joint Chiefs of Staff systematically spied on him and attempted to undermine him as part of a right-wing plot against his government. Hold the phone. You mean the deep state? Yeah, they'll never use those words in a New York Times story, but says if he'd publicized this world historic scandal during Watergate, he might have actually rallied enough support with the public to save his presidency. His paranoia and sense of being under constant siege has been much mocked at the time. These revelations show he actually had good reason to feel this way. Rather than publicize this extraordinary scandal, Nixon decided to go to his grave with the secret solely to protect the honor and integrity of the U.S. Armed Forces, America's international reputation for democracy during the Cold War. So Nixon, which you can argue whether this was the right call or not, but he was an honorable man doing it for the people and what he thought would be the ultimate best thing. Now, we're learning, since we're still dealing with these deep state a-holes, we're learning that it was the wrong call. We needed to rip the Band-Aid off, and the sooner we could have done it, the better. But I understand his thinking. They'd just taken out JFK. They'd installed Johnson. Then Nixon wins in a landslide. And then they take him out this way. But this is extremely relevant because Trump is undergoing the same thing. Now, Trump has gotten farther than any other president. And I want you guys to think about this, how we all were raised. Okay. All of us. I don't know. I mean, if one person in this chat was raised that Nixon was a good president, please let me know. Because I'm pretty sure it was 99% of us in America were raised that Nixon was a disgrace. And it's not necessarily our parents who told us that. The school system sure did. They sure made it known. And then propaganda, like All the President's Men with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. This is back when the mainstream media controlled every narrative. And what's important to recognize is that this is back when they had control, full control. So much control that Nixon thought maybe America could still survive because I can't go up against these people based on what the story is saying. Now Trump's dealing with this. And do you guys honestly think that they just went away, that now that Trump's in charge, they're not going to still try to psyop the crap out of us? Nixon won 49 states. Imagine that. Reagan did it also in 84. And they tried to tarnish Reagan's reputation and got close at the end with Iran-Contra. But with Trump, we're dealing with this right now. We're dealing with Psyop like crazy over these Epstein files. And so many people are biting into it. It's like we've learned nothing. It's like we're still at the feet of these people, these media narratives, all these influencers. They just found new ways to do it. The algorithms. Oh, Trump is actually the cover-up. It's all cover-up, man. Trump's the bad guy. That's exactly what they want you to think. And I get now, like I said, the algo's picking up my videos on the Epstein stuff and Bannon. And it's not like I've blown up. I mean, they're just a little bit higher than usual. It's not like any of them are hitting like hundreds of thousands of views or anything, because the algo won't let me grow that much. I just tell a little too much truth. But I'll tell you what, I'm getting crazy amounts of comments and people telling me I'm an idiot. Trump's actually the bad guy. People are defending Bannon. It is coming out like crazy. And guess what? I'm not going to change a darn thing. I will continue to be me no matter what it costs, because America needs to know the truth. And if you, not you guys, not the people who regularly watch my show, because you guys know, I know enough of you. I've seen enough of you, gotten to talk to you guys enough. You guys are the awake ones. But it is stunning to me how many people are still, even on the MAGA side, allowing themselves to be hit with the psyops and believe it and soak it up. And there's a lot of it going on. A lot of it going on. And so just remember that so little of what looks obvious really is, because they hide it so much. And if you think we're in a time where all the stuff coming to you is pure and trustworthy just because somebody says they're conservative or somebody says they're MAGA, you need help. You really need help. In the comments, I'm seeing read silent coup removal of a president by Lochtefeld says, I'll have to check that one out. Linda Guy says, my dad loved Nixon. I found so many vote Nixon buttons after he died. He was shocked. Wow. Well, I mean, in the time, I bet a lot did. Yeah. Ford was on the Warren Commission 100%. That's right. Ford was a deep stater. Cindy Lou, I was here during then. 69 to 74 was going to be a freshman in high school in 74. I remember it vaguely. Wasn't a politics then. I remember my parents and grandparents liked him. Well, that's the thing. Everybody liked him at the time. It was what we, growing up later, were taught, that he was a disgrace. Christina Abbott says, so weird in the early 70s, we mock trial situations on Watergate. I seriously, in my heart, didn't believe the lies. I don't know why I was the only one skeptical. Maybe you're just who you are. It's good to have that discernment for sure. Like Nixon said about Bohemian Grove. Yeah. Well, Nixon was based. He really was. Okay. But again, important. Let's keep moving. I want to get into the deeper stuff here in a minute, but again, a couple quick stories. Trump admin. So today it was announced by Tom Homan that the surge in Minnesota is going down. Now, the psyopers, that's what I'm going to call them from now on. It's not the fake news anymore, because the fake news is the mainstream media. We've already defeated them. Nobody pays attention to them anymore. The psyopers are the influencers that claim to be America first. That's their code word, by the way. They don't call themselves MAGA. They say America first. Anybody who's saying I'm America first instead of MAGA is a psyoper. I'm pretty much convinced at this point that that's their code way of speaking to each other. I'm the real America first. We are really America first. So if you look at who's saying it, Nick Fuentes, Dave Smith, Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of them, they're all together. Thomas Massey. When they say America first instead of MAGA, we're the real America first. I'm pretty much convinced now that's their code word to each other. That's their little club. That's the club that says we're taking down MAGA from the inside, or from the side by side with them. So they're all freaking out today because Homan announced that the surge is coming down, okay, in Minnesota. And all the America firsters, the psyopers, they all come out and say, this is defeat. This is not the way to win. Oh my God, he's given in again. Trump has lost it. And then they always use their code, because they can't directly attack Trump. Too many people will pick up on it. So they always say this. What aides is he listening to? Who's telling him to do this? Because they can't go after Trump. He's a little too beloved among the people. So they always attack his aides as if Trump's some dawdling idiot who only listens to his aides that give him bad advice all the time. Who's telling Trump to do this? So that was all going wrong. Well, meanwhile, what Tom Homan actually said is that they are drawing down their surge, but they will remain. ICE is going to remain in the city. And I think it's 700, 1,000 officers, something like that. It's quite a few still. All right. And they're going to just remain there. It's going down to normal ICE operations. And you know why they're doing that? Because mission accomplished, baby. They knocked out the biggest stuff. They did their shock and awe. They arrested all the bad egg protesters. You noticed how it's all died down? You don't see the fighting anymore. You don't see the stuff circulating on media anymore. They won. They won this battle. It didn't look like we were going to win in the middle of it, because they were definitely losing the narrative battle for a little bit there. The left was very, very clever. They were willing to sacrifice two of their own to get there, which is disgusting, but they were very clever. But the Trump administration handled it deftly, very well. And now it's going out of the public's mind again. Well, on top of this, the Trump administration today announced they are dramatically expanding their effort to revoke U.S. citizenship for foreign-born citizens. In other words, they're going after the people who got citizenship as kind of like a fraud, for lack of a better word. Says third worlders like Ilhan Omar, who openly pledges her loyalty to Somalia, could face denaturalization cases as soon as this year. Anyone who violates their oath of citizenship should be fast-tracked to deportation. So, in other words, the Trump administration is not stopping anything. So, who you listening to, guys? And who we listening to? Are we believing this nonsense when everybody dooms over all this stuff? Come on. Let's grow up. All right. Last thing I wanted to show you guys before we get into the deeper stuff is this. This is actually massive news. For economy, for where we're going, this is very confirming of a lot of stuff we've been projecting is coming. But look at this. Russia is now considering going back to the US dollar as part of a wide-ranging economic partnership with Trump. Called it. Listen, going back to last year when Trump came into Alaska, and on this show, I told you guys, this is the allyship. They are building bridges, literally, to become allies again. Trade partners. And you know what this does? This acts 100% kills the BRICS nations. The whole BRICS alignment is dead now because of this. You guys remember 4 years ago when the BRICS was like the big fear porn that was going around? The BRICS are going to destroy our economy. Oh my God, they're going to have their own currency. They're going to use XRP, and XRP is going to go to $5,000 a coin. Ah! And I'm not saying XRP won't still grow a lot, because I believe in XRP, but it's not going to be because of BRICS. And that was the reason everybody jumped in the first place. We had Lou from Wall Street, God rest his soul, saying, hey, BRICS going up because of, the XRP. I love Lou. Used to make me laugh so much. He was wrong on this. All along, it's becoming clearer and clearer that Putin's been working with Trump, and it's not why Obama claimed he was, or John Brennan, or Hillary Clinton. They all claim that, Trump, super spy, Russian asset. But actually, nothing could be farther from the truth. Trump's not controlled by Russia at all. It's mano a mano broskies coming together to defeat the cabal world order, City of London, globalist, Satanist pedophile ring that Q told us, that Epstein Island and Epstein files has proven to us. Russia was the nation that, after the Soviet Union, saw the darkness as this cabal tried to take them over, and were saved by Putin. And by a hardy people, I got to add. The Russians are hardy people. Saved by Putin. And Putin was the only Western leader with any strength to stand up to it until Trump came along. And that's what we're learning, folks. That Putin was a good guy holding it down this whole time until Trump came along and he found an ally. Trump has never been a Russian asset, but they sure are working together. And it's not like they're behind the scenes like, hey, you do this, I do this. No, it's more just like looking across the pond at another hero and saying, I see what you're doing. How can I help? Is there anything I can do? Because we have the same enemy. And it's becoming clearer and clearer by the day. The fact that that Russia is now switching back to a dollar, or allowing it to become part of their, is so crazy massive. Look what's happening in the world. All these doomers, I swear to God, it drives me crazy. I love you guys. Some of you are my friends, but you drive me freaking crazy because everybody's just focused on what's the redacted name. You sound like retards. I'm sorry. Cavemen. All I see is redacted names. I gotta know what they are. Me eat sludge. Like, come on. There's so much going on. This is the only way to see clearly, is to try to see the whole picture. That's it. And even then, we can't see it all. But when you see what's actually happening worldwide, look at what happened in Japan. Japan just had a massive victory. They got the prime minister in who's hardcore right-winger reformer. And now they got their the most right-wing nationalist government they've had in forever. So much so that it could actually change their constitution. They are now breaking ties from the globalists who have used Japan for the last 30 years to enrich themselves by holding down Japan's rates. And guess what just happened once this new government came in? They announced Japan is raising their rates to 1% come April, which, by the way, is going to destroy the Japanese yen carry trade, which could crash our markets. But who's it going to hurt most? The globalists, because they're the ones who have been using us, using our financial centers, laundering money through our Wall Street, our stock market. It's going to hurt them the most. While Trump is reshoring up Main Street, you can see when you look abroad, guys, you can see all the chess pieces falling into place. Meanwhile, what's going on here? Redactions. Pam Bondi. She's so dumb. It's a cover up. It's so stupid. It's so stupid because what's actually happening matters way freaking more. What's actually happening. And the Epstein files, my friends, are bringing people down, but they're slow rolling it. You can see it clear as day. Speaking of it, actually, we'll get to that in a second. Let me finish this real quick. So look at this partnership. U.S. and Russia working together on fossil fuels. Bing! Again! I feel like freaking, what's his face? I just watched Groundhog Day with my kids again. When he sees the guy, man, I can't remember his name, but he's like, bing! Bing again! Or Christoph Waltz in Django. That's the bingo. There it is, guys. Oil. America and Russia coming together on oil. That's going to be so epic. Joint investments in natural gas. Are you guys ready to have cheaper energy? Because this is, we're bringing together the most powerful resourced nations in the world. Offshore oil and critical raw material partnerships. Windfalls for U.S. companies. Russia's return to the USD settlement system. If finalized, this deal would change the global economy. Are you guys ready? Everybody's focused on what Trump's doing here. More tariffs. Trump's bad. He doesn't make good decisions. Bad budget man. He's spending too much. Meanwhile, Trump is actually remaking the entire global economy and setting us up to be booming.
Obama started it and got it rolling. And
that was like voice activated. I don't even know how I did that. Booming, folks. Crazy good stuff is coming. This is going to be huge. Trump and Putin sitting in a tree, rebuilding a beautiful economy for the United States and allies who don't kill babies. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Sign me up. Sign me up. I love it. All right. Next thing coming up before we get into the Epstein stuff. John Thune has now signed his name as a co-sponsor to the SAVE Act. This is a big deal. This is a Senate Majority Leader. Now he's on record as supporting it. He can't backtrack now. And this says 45. I believe it's now up to 49 senators have signed on. We need at least 50 to sponsor it. So then we know if they can nuke the filibuster, we have the votes because of J.D. Vance breaking the tie. I also think Fetterman might jump on over on this. We're not going to get Murkowski. We're not going to get McConnell, his corpse. And we're not going to get Collins most likely. But we could maybe get to 50. That's big. That means we're very close to, if they can get the guts to go after the filibuster, we could get the SAVE Act pass. And on top of that, we're getting all this election stuff coming out. Contact with DHS last 72 hours. Is Jake Hoffman, Arizona rep. Stay tuned, America. Corrupt Maricopa County Board of Supervisors in our election department are in full panic. Election director seen in full day sweats today. Board of Supervisors, past and present, corrupt to the core. We did Georgia. Now we're about to go to Maricopa. This is full sprint to the election stuff. While everybody's focused on Epstein, while they're actually doing hearings on this crap, while they're trying to tie Trump up with the immigration stuff that's really a non-starter, nothing's really going on there, but they're trying to make a big deal out of it. While they are deflecting and distracting, Trump is remaking the world economy and, oh, by the way, completely working on fixing our elections. So much is happening, guys. And yet, more redactions. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying, I don't want to see who's in there, but come on. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this some more. All right. Let's get into the Bannon stuff. It's time. It's time to go deep diving on Epstein stuff and we're going to start with the recent the most recent stuff on Bannon. Cuz it's not good, folks. It's not good. Every day right now, every day, the stuff gets worse and worse for Bannon. And I gotta say, guys, that, I really don't want this to be true. Okay. I tuned in to War Room today because I wanted to listen. I wanted to get my feel for it because I haven't listened to him in a while. And most of what he was doing was great. He actually supported Pam Bondi when all of his people are out there just, tearing her to shreds right now, even on the MAGA side. All of his people, all the people that hang out with him, Posobiec, Rich Barris, Mark Mitchell, Viva Frey, tearing Pam Bondi apart for the hearings. And Bannon was supporting her. I was like, I like this. You know what? I like how Steve talks. I like how he portrays things. I like how he breaks it down. 95%, actually it's closer to like 85%. I 85% agree with how he handles stuff. But he did do a couple things I noticed. He did the Trump's AIDS code. We got to stop these aides that are getting to him, giving him some bad direction. He dropped that line. And there was a couple other very subtle things where I was like, there it is. Bannon is so stinking smart. He is so dang smart. Because these emails that keep coming out, these texts are damning. And it's even worse tonight. More and more crazy stuff. It just keeps piling up. I've already done 2 massive segments on 2 different shows just on Bannon and Epstein. And now I got more. It just keeps coming. And it's getting harder and harder to believe he's good. But I got to say, when you listen to him, it's really hard to believe he's not. So the guy is very smart. Very smart. And he's either playing both sides for himself, which I just can't see at this point. I still think it's actually 2 options. He's either the deepest dive, like behind the scenes, cozying up to bad guys in order to help Trump in some way, or he's actually rotten and actually looking to undermine the true MAGA movement to uproot or uplift himself and what he wants to see done. Because I gotta say, the more and more of this stuff comes out, I just don't see how it could have helped, how any of it could ever have come back to help Trump. Look at this right here. This is the total emails found the volumes of Jeffrey Epstein between Bannon, Hoffman, and Bill Gates. Hoffman and Gates we know are rotten. And yet Bannon had more connection with Epstein recorded than either Gates or Hoffman. How crazy is that? I mean, all these people that are coming attacking me saying like, no, Bannon's the real one, Trump's the bad guy, or how could you say that? Bannon's the real America first. I'm like, people are like, you're a moron. You got nothing to back up. You see these numbers? Do you see these numbers? I'm saying, listen, was I looking a week ago? 1 week ago, was I somebody out here saying like Bannon's terrible? F War Room? No. I said I had my issues with him, said it sometimes I wonder, but I never went after Bannon. And now I got all these receipts and people are like, you're a moron. Dude, are you kidding me? Oh, we're going to cover that, Linda and Moody. It's coming. So let's look at some of these messages that come out in the last couple of days that people have found. Steve Bannon, this is the day when Bannon and Epstein, they were sure the case wouldn't stick against Epstein, that he was going to get out on a plea deal. Jeffrey Epstein, this is Steve Bannon in the gray, blue, Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein plea deal must stand, prosecutors tell sex abuse victims. Bannon is acting like his best friend just got saved. Dude, is this real? Tell me this is real. Yup. Is that out anywhere yet? Miami Herald, but more and better July 9th. Epic, epic, epic. Are we doing Tucson? We, my team, I don't need you for this. That's weird. A kind of strange reaction if he's not your buddy. But then we get to this. This is how Bannon was trying to help him rehab his image. Bannon, need the list from the attorney today. Let me know how Oliver goes. Thanks, appreciate it. I guess my 38 is still worse than you. Bannon, we need to work around your 38. First, we need to push back against the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as philanthropist. I mean, you could say, okay, that's just him cozying up to Epstein to get info. Fine, okay. But actually consulting him? There's nothing in here that ever says Epstein didn't trust him. And also nothing in here where Epstein is actually confessing to anything that would hurt him. Look at this. Epstein, in any bar where drinking age is 18, I guess that 10% of patrons are under 18. They sneak in, they have fake ID, their friends bring them in, and that is with the guards at the door. The owner gets a fine. Every bar in Florida, there's no intercourse. The reports that said they lied when asked their ages undercuts the arguments I sought young girls. Think of the bar. Let's go more. Who did they lie to, asked Bannon? They told the police, they were told by the friend of theirs that brought them, if asked, make sure you say you're 18. Exactly the opposite of sting results where guys looking for underage girls, they always want under and are explicit. But I get it. And each girl I knew why was coming in the house massage with extra, hardly coercion. Reminder, I'm not delusional, no ego, not my skill set. Yeah, right. Regarding Kathy, documents Paramount, Kazan same. I don't know Kazan. Steve, Kirshner blows his case out of the water. Why have you never had him come forward now that he's retired? And Epstein replies, needs to be face to face. It's just creepy stuff, right? Just creepy stuff. Now this is getting a little gross. Epstein chatting with Bannon, joking about being called disgraced, reviled pedophile. We'll start at the bottom. Email here. Here's Bannon sending him a story. And the line is, Steve Bannon trying to get on disgraced Jeffrey Epstein's good side. The story that ran on page 6 in 2018. And he writes, who said, or I said, I didn't know I had a good side, says Epstein. To which Bannon replies, who said you had a good side? And Epstein replies, I am now a 3-adjective evil. Disgraced, reviled, and pedophile. As long as they don't call me fat, I'm fine. These guys are like best friends. How has Bannon not addressed this? Okay. Like, I'm seeing stuff in here like Rumdog not making excuses, bans a content creator asking questions of others. He wasn't a content creator here, man. This is before War Room. Okay. This is before War Room. Vince, I disagree with you that he doesn't win this last election without Bannon. Charlie Kirk had way more to do with that, but Bannon was a part of it. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm not saying he didn't help, but he wasn't the reason Trump won. And I don't think Bannon had nearly as much to do with it as others. Also, I disagree with the big, beautiful bill as well. So I think Trump put the pressure on those people. But here is where it gets crazy. This is insane. This is one of the craziest things I've seen in all these emails. Okay, Bannon starts excellent, to which they're talking, I don't know about what, but Epstein replies, Georgie Schwartz, real name of George Soros. So there you go. There's Georgie Schwartz. That's George Soros' real name. Careful not to register under FARA. FARA is where you have to register who bankrolls you and all this stuff, all your connections. NGOs were carefully structured. My reading is you can form a media company and make that the umbrella exemption on it, says Bannon. And to which Epstein says the media company has lots of advantages, source, privilege, etc. In other words, you can hide a lot when you do a media company. Well, this message came out September 2018, when Bannon said, I'm on it on the media. Well, guess what? The very next month, War Room launched. I'm sorry, guys. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up. Some of this stuff just, there is no way to make sense of it unless Bannon is actually bad. And I know I've gone back and forth with a couple people on this. How could Bannon be bad? He's supported Trump so much. He's helped him, just like Vince said in the chat. Why has Trump pardoned him? Well, the answer I think is pretty obvious. Bannon made himself this massive audience at War Room. You know, he's got like, I don't know what, maybe a few 100,000 people watch each show, but over the course of a week, maybe 1 million people watch it. He's got massive influence when you think of all the people that are influencers that he's helped give a platform. Jack Posobiec, Raheem Kassam, Rich Barris, Mark Mitchell, all these people are bigger because of Bannon. All of these people. And many more. He has fired up the base. He's been a big part of that. He's well known. Bannon has helped Trump at times, and there's no doubt about that. And Trump, I mean, War Room doesn't exist without Trump. Okay, Trump won that first election with, Bannon was one of his consultants on the campaign, but then he was fired not that long after. And Trump called him out. Sloppy Steve was super pissed at him. And then Bannon went running to Epstein here. So the timeline is pretty crazy. Trump was very against Steve Bannon for a while. And we know that Bannon was leaking to Michael Wolff on the books that came out against Trump. Michael Wolff, the same guy who, let me see, where is it? Well, I'll bring him up later. I have a post I want to share on Michael Wolff. But so Bannon was ostracized. Goes to the Epstein. This is when all the Epstein stuff's coming out, from 2018 through 2019, all the texts with Epstein. And then Bannon launches War Room. Well, when Bannon launches War Room, he has, his group is MAGA. They are all Trump supporters, all of them. He doesn't have a following without Trump supporters. So he builds his platform on Trump support. 100% he does. And he really gets big during the pandemic, during COVID, because everybody's at home, got lots to talk about. Everybody starts listening to War Room. That's when it's at its peak. And since then, it's been up and down. But Bannon has remained pretty strong. Bannon and Trump, because Bannon has implanted himself so much, it's mutually assured destruction. Trump can't go after Bannon publicly because Bannon has such a following that many people would fall off if he did. Bannon, in turn, cannot betray Trump. He cannot do it publicly because if he does, he loses 90% of his audience. 10% would stay. He would have some hardcore people would be like, but they destroy each other if they call out. But I'll tell you something, guys. Trump certainly didn't protect Bannon here. All this stuff's coming out and it looks awful. And everybody's calling out Trump and Bondi for covering up with the redactions. Why is nobody talking about the fact that Steve Bannon is not addressing this at all? You would think if he had nothing to hide, he would go right at it because this is going to start destroying his show. Because one thing MAGA base cares about, the people paying attention, the people who watch War Room, they care about the Epstein files. And the more and more it comes out and the worse Bannon looks, they're going to have questions. It's not going to last if he doesn't have a good answer for this. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Here we have Epstein telling Bannon how a good way to maybe get some funding for War Room in interesting ways. It says having our FEC lawyers check all this but think property is as folks donate real assets all the time. This is the same as foundation. When I say have, I mean we take it as a donation, use it to support building out this grassroots army unless you're saying start to issue our own. Basically saying we can structure this like a church. And he goes on to talk about crypto assets. Noam Chomsky yesterday referred to me as a Swiss Army knife of finance. Dropping Noam Chomsky's name there. It's not the same. Foundations like people, all are not created equally. Unlike cash, a contributor could be setting themselves up for problems on contributions. If I were you, I'd consider leapfrogging these old patriarch-created structures. There are many parameters to your issue. He's helping Bannon get this going. Up here. I'm thinking about forming a church structure. If preaching and politics rules apply or distributed, I don't understand. He's got the craziest writing. Straddles property and charity. Gift taxes on donations, very tricky. 501c4. Mario Nawfal reports. Epstein emailed Bannon brainstorming church setup to navigate preaching and politics rules are distributed. L3. Wild stuff, guys. Bannon and Epstein here mocking their detractors. Quote, WTF, don't tell, this is from the organizer. This is Epstein writing Bannon. From the organizer, WTF, don't tell me you and Bannon are on the same team. If so, the world just became a much more dangerous place. 4 exclamation points. I thought you stood, at least in theory, for everything he despises, or is this a joke? To which Bannon replies, effing genius. This is crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. D6 says, what if Bannon was trying to set up Epstein? Okay, let's play that game. Let's follow that to its conclusion. What in any of this implicates Epstein in any way? Any of it. None of it. I mean, not between him and Bannon. He hasn't confessed to anything. At least not what we've seen. There's more files to come. Maybe that all comes out. Bannon was traveling with him on his plane, going to the island to do the documentary series, telling Jeffrey what a great time he's had on stuff. All the emails are plotting business stuff, structures, how to take down Trump. Remember, we were talking about that a couple days ago. Bannon saying he's the one who got John Bolton in, which I thought Bannon hated Bolton. He said he controlled him. He said he's the reason he got in the administration. So, it's pretty damning stuff. Nothing in this says it looks good. D6 says befriending him to get him to talk, maybe, but a sting operation that lasted 2 years, I don't know. The more you see, the less good it looks, because Bannon, by doing this, okay, he risked his entire reputation getting this close to Epstein. That's pretty dangerous stuff. Now, I'm not saying Bannon's not the type to do something dangerous. He's done all kinds of crazy stuff. But remember, there's other shady stuff Bannon's done. He got the Build the Wall fund, $25 million, got busted paying himself. Not a dime of that went to the wall. He got off on a plea deal. Everybody else went to jail. His World of Warcraft scam, where he was getting people real cash for their World of Warcraft money. He was laundering it back in 2007. Bannon doesn't have a clean past. He's gotten himself into trouble. Again, none of this is foolproof. Bannon's rotten. I want to be clear on that. I want it to be true. I would much rather it come out that Bannon is a good guy and this was all behind the scenes. And maybe we'll find that out in a further email dump. But isn't it very strange that the entire War Room posse is just acting like this doesn't exist? And that everything else is just hurting Trump's approval ratings and turning the people against him? I don't see Bannon and his people doing much to help Trump rebuild his popularity with the people he's losing right now, who aren't really paying attention, who only care about Epstein. I don't see that. I really don't. I see a lot of criticism. And Trump's advisors are so bad line that just keeps coming out again and again and again. So again, the question is, how is any of this helping Trump right now when he needs it the most? When he's in not even the middle of his second term, when he's getting the most accomplished? If Bannon is actually working with Trump this entire time, why is he all of a sudden not going all in on rebuilding this presidency, on helping Trump get back and maintain popularity as high as ever? Because his guys out there are dooming like crazy, especially his pollsters, Mitchell and Barris, Viva Frey and Robert Barnes. They're all turning on him. Amidst all this, as all these Epstein files are coming out, who does Bannon have on? America First. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has gone more anti-Trump, more anti the current administration than anybody else that was in the movement. Marjorie, to me, is one of the greatest shill grifters out there. She never served with Trump before. She came in the 2020 election. Trump's on his way out. She gets seated 2 weeks before Trump, and she gets to be a MAGA hero during the Biden administration, which it really wasn't hard to be a MAGA hero during that time. We were down pretty hard. And then the first warning signs with her were siding with Kevin McCarthy, who's one of the biggest rhinos out there. That was the first warning sign. It's been nonstop since then. And up until the point where she literally just quit and left an open seat in the House where we only had a 5-seat majority, seriously hurting the House majority and Speaker Johnson's ability to get stuff done. This woman is now on every liberal podcast and show, The View. She's just making the rounds. She is their little MAGA hero now, the one who's fighting back against Trump, and literally nothing she does is helping at all. And some people think she's playing a game. Okay, she's actually secretly good. I would agree with you if any of it was helpful at all, but it's not. None of it is. And Bannon continues to prop her up as if she's a serious person. This is the kind of stuff I look out for. Just very disconcerting. Today we got this post from General Mike Flynn, hero of the Anons in the Q community. This is in response to a Bannon and Epstein email. Very cryptically, Mike Flynn writes, at some point in the future, there will be more to say and change, but that some point, quote unquote, requires something to change. And if it's ever in my power authority, I will change that. Trust that. The crooks in our midst are many and dug in. And if we don't have accountability, I don't care how much Trump does to change the landscape of America, it won't be enough. What a weird thing to say in response to Epstein communicating with Bannon, Obama, Susan Rice lawyer, Kathy Rumler. Epstein emailed Bannon. This post is about Bannon. And this line right here is pretty crazy. The crooks in our midst. Nothing, Flynn doesn't back up Bannon. Now he does say this. At some point in the future, there'll be more to say and change. So maybe he knows something good about this. But you could also look at this as he's calling Bannon out. I don't know. Very cryptic. Something's going on here, guys. People are in the know about Bannon one way or the other. The evidence is getting crazy, though. And then we have this weird story, again, back to Bannon's rental house in Miami. Between 2015 and 2016, Miami police rolled up to Bannon's rented Coconut Grove house 11 times in a year. These calls range from tenants screaming for help inside to neighbors dialing 911 over explosive shouting matches audible from the street. As we learn more, it gets worse for Bannon. Of course, they picked the worst possible picture for him. Again, he rented the house. This is the house where all the acid was found in the bathtub. And now we get this domestic violence stuff 11 times. Now, none of it was arresting Bannon. Did he just have the worst possible friends ever? Was he subletting to the worst people ever? It's possible. It is. But a lot of landlords don't let you sublet, number one. Number two, if you're not subletting, you usually know the people staying there. Even if you are subletting, you usually know the people staying there. Just weird stuff, man. Just weird stuff. And you could say, this is all distraction. It's all coordinated to try to take down Bannon and ruin MAGA. This is all splitting us apart. Fine. Okay, fine. Let's play that game. Why did it come from the Trump administration? Because these are the Epstein files that started all this. This is not some hit piece coming out from the New York Times. This is not the Washington Post. This isn't even the Wall Street Journal. This isn't mainstream media doing this. This questions of Bannon is because of files that are actually been scrubbed by the FBI and DOJ and then released. Thousands and thousands of files, Bannon and Epstein. That's what started this. I didn't just come up with this out of nowhere. Again, War Room going down would not be good. Finding out all these influencers surrounding Bannon and his circle would not be good. I don't want that to happen. But at the same time, we got to be honest, because the worst thing, what's even worse than it all crashing and burning, is if they're allowed to stand and they're just rotting away MAGA from the inside in a more insidious way. That's what I don't know. But it just gets worse and worse. So I'll continue to cover this story as long as anything interesting comes out. But tonight, I want you to just walk away with the main crazy thing, and that's this: the whole on it with the media company, and then War Room launching a month later. I mean, the question is like, did Bannon launch War Room because of Epstein? Was it Epstein's idea? That's a crazy, crazy thought. So Linda Guy asks, has Bannon ever been married or dated a woman? He's been married 3 times. 3 marriages, just like Trump. But unlike Trump, his didn't improve. All 3 of his marriages ended fairly quickly, about 2 to 3 years each, which means he's probably, for lack of a better word, an asshole, which I could see on a private level, at least with women. He's obviously not a good husband. You get 3 runs at it, it's you, buddy. It's not them. But yeah, he's been married 3 times. All of them lasting very short. Cindy Lou says, rumor is MTG will be on The View as a regular soon. Oh, doesn't that make sense? Sell your soul to the devil and now take their paycheck. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. She is the worst, man. She is the worst. Okay, let's move on from Bannon because we got a lot more on the Epstein's files, including the infamous now Bondi hearing. Are you guys ready to get into it? Well, first, Michael Wolff, who, again, Trump ousted Bannon because of him spilling the beans to Michael Wolff, him being the leaker in the Trump White House. Michael Wolff now talking to Epstein. And this is kind of small to read, so I'm just going to read what they brought out here. But Epstein, I didn't offer a time yet as I need my marching orders, wink. Michael Wolff, just his plan. Trump is going to go down. Why doesn't use this opportunity to strike out on his own? Also, gently imply I have tapes. I wonder, by the way, if he isn't interested in talking to you about, in fact, bringing down Trump. Can't wait to hear. It sure sounds like they're talking about Bannon because Bannon's the one who was caught leaking to Michael Wolff, which is why Trump fired him. Epstein, the rich and powerful always send lawyers letters. A book about any one of them takes more time to publish, as I must be and I am meticulous about documentation backup. So they were all helping Michael Wolff try to take down Trump. Oh, there you go. This is the guy who Bannon was leaking to, and he just happens to be plotting with Epstein to take down Trump. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. So that's crazy. All right, let's go to the Bondi hearing. Let's listen to this, because I want to break this down, because there's a lot of people thinking Thomas Massey just crushed it here. So, and are being really hard on Bondi. By the way, I watched about 75-80% of the hearing. Bondi did great. She had a couple moments that weren't great. Like the Dow response, the 50,000 response, it wasn't great. The timing was terrible. But the rest of it, she did pretty well. And I actually believe she did really well in this exchange right here. So let's watch it.
Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr.
Chairman.
This isn't how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to the next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and we invited you
Show the
in.
video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want
on
you to
things
watch the
that matter.
video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his
Man, these hearings are so wild. Listen, the okay, so even on my show over a year ago when we were talking about Epstein, I talked about Les Wexner. He freaking lived in Les Wexner's house that Les Wexner gave him. Okay. Everybody who's spent 5 minutes studying Epstein knew Les Wexner was a part of it. That was the most obvious part of the whole Epstein thing. And what I want to get at here is Thomas Massie, who sounded just like a Democrat there. I reclaim my time, not letting her give her full answer. Makes one redaction out of 4,000 mentions of Wexner in the files the big deal, the gotcha moment. And to that, to Bondi's credit, it says when they noticed it, they unredacted it in 40 minutes. 40-minute turnaround, to which Massie admits it. But he has to turn it into, yeah, because I caught you red-handed. Caught her. The FBI had these files first. Remember when these files first came out last March? And Bondi and Kash Patel were getting to them, and we found out the SDNY, Southern District, New York, was holding the files and actually holding them back. And they had to go down there and demand them and basically storm the SDNY bureau to get the files out. That SDNY, which was run by a bunch of corrupt FBI agents, had those files for a long time. And a lot of these redactions, the DOJ has said, were given to them by the FBI. So the DOJ, with 3 million files, hasn't had time to go through every single redaction, fix it all. And what they're doing is, as Congress has been bringing it up, especially people like Massie, they've been unredacting stuff. That's already happening. It's not happening at a massive scale, but it's happening a little bit. She unredacted that name. They obviously aren't worried about Les Wexner. Massie, who is the big, I have the names. Remember a couple months ago, he said, I have 20 names from the victims I will release if they're not released. And then he never did it. And then when cornered upon it, he said, no, I had one name. I said the victims had 20 names. Okay, dude. Massie is such a fraud. How do people still not see it? It drives me crazy. So Massie, who has hours now to go in and look at the files unredacted, and first thing I'm going to hear is, it's 3 million files, bro. What do you think he's going to find? Okay, retards. Massie, if he's this hero and such a genius, by the way, he's an MIT guy. He is very smart. Going in, he's going to know exactly which files he wants to look at to see which the redactions are. Because that's what you do. You don't just go there like an idiot and sit at the computer and say, oh my God, it's 3 million files. Let's just start at page 1. Ha ha. 1, 2. I'm not seeing any names. Oh, I'm running out of time. No, you go into the computer with all these. You have the ones you're ready. You're like, I need to get these out. These are the ones I want to see. And that's why you go in. And that's why they don't need to give them unfettered access for 10 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours a day with 75 computers to sit at. They don't need that because you come in with the files that you're ready to say, these are the ones that I need to see. And then you sit down and you do the work. That's what anybody with half a brain would do. And Massie, who's supposed to be the genius, the real America first. Yeah. You really think he just go in there and scroll page 1? Man, I only got through this. I had 2 hours. I only saw 200 pages. Oh my God. Well, I can talk about Les Wexner. Yeah, that's not what Thomas Massie's going to do. So he goes in, he sees all these unredacted files, and you know what he comes out with? He comes out with the 6 names Ro Khanna mentions who nobody cares about because none of them are that big a deal. And then he comes out with Les Wexner, I gotcha. The one guy that everybody knew beyond a shadow of a doubt had already been involved with Epstein for the last 5 years minimum. You know what I call that? That's retard sauce right there. That is weak. I thought you had something, Massey. And now he's like, they redacted so much. Dude, you could have found him. And you went out there and acted like you're the hero, blasting out the names of these guys that were redacted as if it's a big deal. And you couldn't come up with anything? These victims you keep talking to, they can't come up with anything? Are you freaking kidding me? And a bunch of freaking morons online are falling for it. And if you're still falling for Massey, I'm sorry. I'm looking at you right in the eye right now. Look at me. I'm going to tell you like this as a friend. Okay, you ready? Shh. Come here. If you still believe Massey, you're a retard. This guy is the biggest showboater ever. Grandstander, joke, never gets anything done. If you're still believing after everything going on here that these redactions in this batch, most of them are a big deal. I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. I'm sorry, I just do. Because they can't find anything. Nancy Mace, the other day, goes on Piers Morgan. I have so many names. You won't believe who's in these files. Oh, tell us. Because you know when they go in Congress and they stand there and they give their testimony, if they send out names and they are doing it in the House of Representatives, they are immune. They can say whoever they want. The laws of slander, whatever, don't apply when you're in the House of Representatives giving a testimony. They don't apply. You are immune. So give us the names. Why? Do you see the game they're playing? It's a game. Because they can say these files are redacted. What are they hiding? What are you hiding? If you care about the victims so much, why are you waiting on the Trump administration to unredact them? What are you waiting for? Since you have the names. But here's the thing. They don't have anything. They don't have anything except for the redaction. And because we don't know what that is, and most people can't put all this together, they don't have the time to figure it all out and actually pay attention to everything going on. Most people are just like, they redacted stuff. Oh my God. They're not thinking about the fact that there's literally 435 people plus senators, 535 people who can go into those files at any time, see them unredacted, and go give the names without any fear of repercussion legally. 535 people in our government right now can go look and find any single name and release them. And they're yelling at the Trump administration for holding them back. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. Let me get to this in a second. I had something else I wanted to share on this. Here's the survivors they're talking about. This is, so they brought a bunch of survivors into the Bondi hearing to make a big show of it. Look at these survivors. You haven't talked to any of them. We have survivors in the audience. Well, here's the survivors that were there, some of them. Elizabeth Stein. She works for the Tide Foundation, Soros, Open Society funded World Without Exploitation. They produced a Super Bowl commercial of victims this weekend. She was a full-grown woman when she met Maxwell at her job at 21 years old, had a 3-year friendship with Epstein and Maxwell. She didn't realize she was trafficked until 30 years later when Epstein was sentenced. She attempted but failed to recover funds from the victims fund. Wonder why they didn't pay her out. Interesting. Maxwell's attorney pointed out she did not legally qualify as a crime victim under the CVR and received no payout, but she sure did try. What are these people doing? Oh, by the way, the Super Bowl commercial funded by the one and only Reid Hoffman. Yeah. One of the worst perpetrators in the Epstein files, one of the guys we know went to the island several times, disgusting fat slob, hardcore Democratic donor, multi-billionaire. Yeah. He funded the commercial. Do you think any self-respecting victim who actually cared about justice would perform in a commercial funded by one of the worst of the worst? How does that make sense? Please tell me, massholes. Hey, mass boys, mass girls, Massey. He's the only hero in all this. If it wasn't for Massey, none of this be redacted. None of this would be out at all. Massey is a true hero. He cares about the victims. Oh my God. I cannot believe how many people are still falling for this crap. It's unbelievable. And here's the thing, guys. 4 years ago, you had an excuse. 5 years ago, you had an excuse. 3.5 years ago, you had an excuse. Nobody has an excuse now because we have X. And all this information is available to us, easily accessible. Because these people don't just post this stuff. I mean, people do just post things, and you shouldn't just read just because people post them. But these people, it's easy to find the people who come with the receipts. It's easy to double check it against Grok, who scans the entirety of X and the internet to see if this stuff's true. And this stuff's validated. So tell me again how I'm misinformed. Tell me again how I don't have the receipts. Unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Here's this. Members of Congress have had several days to go through the unredacted Epstein files. Despite a bunch of them saying you're not going to believe who's in there, not a single one of them have dropped details. Instead, they recessed and flew home from D.C. tonight. You can't make this stuff up. Do you understand why Trump calls the Epstein files a hoax now? Is it starting to make sense? It's not that the files themselves are a hoax. It's not that Epstein's crimes are a hoax. It's not that Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates being in them is a hoax. No, the hoax is that the Trump administration is covering it up. The hoax is that Trump was in the files. The hoax is that Epstein was going to bring down the Trump government. That's the hoax. The hoax is that these victims that are still out there, I'm not talking about the real victims, God bless them, the ones who went to court, who fought for it, the Virginia Giuffres, who went out there, who suffered, who let their lives be torn apart just to tell the truth, the ones who were validated as victims that got payouts in the massive payouts from JP Morgan Chase and from Epstein's estate. Those are real victims. I'm talking about the fake victims who will not release names, who refuse to do anything except grandstand behind Thomas Massey and MTG and Ro Khanna, bunch of anti-Trump crazies, stand behind them and say, we have it, why won't you release it? And these people, along with Congress, all these Democrats going after the Trump administration, it's such a big deal that they voted tonight to shut down the government and go home. Because we care about the victims. Are you kidding me? Linda Goy writes, the real victim, Allie Carter, had been talking for years. She's always saying save the children. She's been at the island, knows everything. She says arrest all Congress. Yeah, I mean, there's that too. Although I will say with the everything that's been coming out, we still haven't seen a lot of congressmen. So either she's telling the truth as she sees it, she saw enough of them, she thinks it's all of them, or she might not be telling the truth. We'll see. I don't know her name, so I can't say if she's one of the ones who's actually been verified as a victim or not. But for all those who think that the Epstein files really aren't accomplishing much, look at this. They are accomplishing a whole lot. Here's Deepak Chopra. As Q wrote years ago, what happens when people learn the truth? What happens when they wake up? They won't be able to walk down the streets. Here's
Gotta
Deepak
ask you,
Chopra.
listen, sir, you built your entire career. You built your entire career on spirituality. What do you have to say about your actions with Epstein? Any regrets? You have any regrets?
This guy's entire career is going to be ruined. That's what did I tell you guys? I said there's probably a lot of these people won't go to prison because there might not be enough evidence documented to send them there. Some of these crimes might be beyond the statute of limitations. There's all kinds of stuff that like they might not be able to do as much with it as we want from a legal perspective. But they can have their careers completely ruined. They can have their kingdoms completely torn down and their legacies destroyed forever. And I got to tell you, for some of these people, that's worse than prison. It is. It might not feel like it to you, but to them, it can be much worse. Rather be seen a martyr and sometimes go to prison than have the people completely reject you. Some of these people care that much about it. Oprah Winfrey in the files. Her private jet went to Epstein Island 11 times. Now, we've known about Oprah a long time. You remember John of God? Video of Oprah where she says little girls get aroused when touched by grown men. Pretty disgusting. She's known to be best friends with Brazilian faith healer John of God, who's serving multiple prison sentences totaling 400 years for crimes including rape, sexual abuse, illegal firearm possession. You know who else Oprah considers one of her great spiritual leaders? Deepak Chopra. That's correct. Yeah, all these people, Epstein files. We have Oprah right here. Oprah appears on the sex traffickers list. Renowned philanthropist and talk show host Oprah Winfrey surprisingly appeared on Jeffrey Epstein's list of attendees. Oprah Winfrey here promoting John of God. My visit with him is next week. Really fascinating. Oprah Winfrey and John of God right here. Oprah promoted him as a miracle healer. This man kept women chained to impregnate so he could sell the babies for organ adrenochrome harvesting, for sex trafficking, for satanic sacrifice, and who knows what else. Arrested in December 2018. Crazy stuff. And, you know, apparently none of these files matter. No, they matter. They matter. Kathy Remler, former Obama employee, Obama lawyer in the White House during the Obama years, resigns from Goldman Sachs. I guarantee you she didn't resign voluntarily. This was one of those, Kathy, these files are bad. We can't have you here anymore. Do you want to resign or do you want us to let you go in disgrace? That's what they take the resign every freaking time. Her career is over. Nobody's going to hire her again. She's done. This is the real effect of the files. We might not see many arrests. We're seeing careers ruined. That's something. Lochtefeld says, yes, bye, Kathy. Cassing says, Trump's trying to make our life more prosperous. I could care less about the files. I understand that completely, Cassing, but regardless, the files matter, and we have to deal with them. Linda Goy says they won't be able to walk down the street. Absolutely. David says someone mentioned this similar to the French Revolution. I guess France wanted to adopt the American system. British intelligence don't want that, so they staged a revolution. That is partly true, yes. It's not completely true, but partly true. But we can get into that another time. All right, guys, some of you mentioned this earlier, but here is one of the craziest things that happened this week that's not going to be mainstream news, except for those who try to use it in a bad light. But this is important. Pam Bondi this week with the computers. Pam Bondi sat before the House Judiciary Committee standard oversight hearing with routine questions. She pulled out a document labeled Jayapal Pramila Search History. The room went silent. Here's what happened. DOJ gave Congress access to the unredacted Epstein files this week. Every member got their own login. Very smart. Their own computer, their own session. What Congress didn't know, the DOJ tracked every single search. Every name they looked up, every document they opened, every file they downloaded, all of it was logged. Bondi brought the receipts. Panic instant. Jayapal called it spying on members of Congress. Raskin accused Bondi of blatant abuse of power. Moskowitz said it was suspicious and inappropriate. They're furious. Here's the question nobody's asking. Why are they afraid of search history? If you're searching for evidence of crimes against children, you'd be proud of that search history. Unless you're not searching for evidence, unless you're searching for your own name. Think about it. Bondi didn't just release the files. She released them on monitored computers. Every Congress member who rushed to search the files just told the DOJ exactly who they're trying to protect, what names they're worried about, which connections they're trying to verify. One searching for flight to the island investigators, one searching for specific names, protectors. Bondi knows who's investigating, who's covering up. She showed them she knows in front of cameras with a smile. Now we have the shutdown. It's not a full government shutdown, but it's Department of Homeland Security shutdown. Well, Congress panics about their search history. They're shutting down Saturday DHS. Democrats blocked the funding bill. House members left. Same week, Congress gets caught searching Epstein files. They refuse to fund the department that investigates trafficking. They're not defunding DHS to save money. They're defunding it to stop investigations, which might be true. I can't tell you 100% that's true, but it makes sense. Monday, Congress gets Epstein file access. Tuesday, members search for names. Wednesday, Bondi reveals she tracked everything. Thursday, Democrats block the funding. Government shutdown begins. Is that why? I can't tell you if that's exactly why they shut it down. There's also the whole ICE thing, fight over immigration, which is also legit because the base. But I'll tell you that regardless of the shutdown aspect, we know Bondi tracked him. You could see it as she was sitting there. She had her binder with like their information and she calling it out. So again, all we're hearing right now in America First, the Psyop sphere, is cover up, cover up. I got to tell you guys, the longer we go in this, the more we find out about who's been redacted, how little it matters, and how they're not bombshells. The longer Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, the victims, the longer the victims still left, not the original victims, who've already done their part. The longer these people stay silent on these names they so-called have, despite the fact that they're free to say them, the longer they stay silent on this stuff, the more it looks like this is a setup by the Trump administration, not a cover-up. You guys can tell me if you agree with me or not. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat. I am interested to see how many people think this could be what's going on from Trump administration with Epstein files. Cover up. Setup. You guys vote. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know where that one ends up. Because I got to say, I have a real issue with the fact that Thomas Massey, all he could come up with was Les Wexner's name. That's nothing. That didn't wake up anybody. Where's the names that we're supposed to be thinking are bombshells? Where's the ones that are going to topple world governments? Where's the, congressmen? Do we really believe that that's all Massey saw? Or is there really just not much there? I don't know, but I gotta say, I don't trust I don't trust what we're seeing, and I trust I trust the Trump administration far more than I trust everybody else on this. Far more. Let's keep going. Marsha Blackburn, who's actually legit MAGA. Let's see what she has to say about where we're at. Which, by the way, I have a feeling she's a little closer to the truth than Thomas Massie.
Yes, and let me say this. I give AG Bondi credit for getting those files released. I had been asking for years for the release of the Epstein files, not because of celebrity, but to know who was in Jeffrey Epstein's network and how they built out this global sex trafficking network. So what you want to see, what we hear from people every day, Dr. Gina, is look, during the Biden years, whether it was Epstein, and I do think you will see some arrest that will come from the release of these files, or whether it was Arctic Frost, we want to see these bad actors put into court, which is a DOJ responsibility. Congress can't do that. We can hold hearings, we can investigate, but they want them to be taken to trial. We saw the Watergate trials, and of course, Arctic Frost is much worse, much deeper and wider than Watergate ever was. And people want these bad actors like Jack Smith to pay the price for what they have done to the president, members of Congress, and to conservatives across the country.
All right. So you hear what she said? Arrests are being built up. They are building up for arrests. We're actually going to see some stuff. So I believe it. I believe the cases are being made so that they have so much. They just can't. It can't be overturned. Let me put it that way. I'm a black pillar. Oh my God. Tell me you don't watch my show and when yeah. Black pillar. That's hilarious. I'm the least black pilled person out there, and everybody who's watched my show more than once is knows it. All right. Let's go on. Look at this. This is a crazy story. Let's walk down through Ghislaine and what might be going on with her. In 2010, a billionaire from Iowa bought his girlfriend a gift, a 240-foot yacht, 5 decks, a helipad. Something most people wouldn't notice. A compartment beneath the waterline, big enough for a submarine. They named it Plan B. His name was Ted Waite. He built Gateway Computers into a billion-dollar company. Wealthy, recently divorced, interested in ocean conservation. Her name was Ghislaine Maxwell. Over the next 2 years, something strange happened. Waite donated $10 million to the Clinton Foundation. Maxwell attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Within months, she was speaking at the United Nations, at TED conferences, at events where world leaders gathered. She launched a nonprofit called Terramar. Have you guys heard of this? The Terramar thing is crazy. Its mission, protecting international waters, the 64% of the ocean that belongs to no country. No Coast Guard patrols there, no customs, no jurisdiction. For private submarines, no required locks. She was basically trying to turn it into its own nation. If you go deeper into it, it's wild. Between 2012 and 2017, Terramar gave out $0 in ocean conservation grants. The organization spent less than $900 total on tax returns. Terramar claimed it owed Ghislaine Maxwell $500,000. Meanwhile, Maxwell got certified submarine pilot, helicopter pilot, deep sea vehicle operator, emergency medical technician. She posted photos of herself diving, cleaning ocean trash. Why would a socialite spend years learning to pilot submarines? 2019, drone operators flew over a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The island belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. Footage showed something most people missed, a structure on the coastline hidden, leading underground. Engineers who analyzed it said, or submarines. People could arrive underwater in international waters where no country watches, no manifest, no custom forms, no record, and walk through the entrance like they'd never been there at all. In other words, a secret entrance, getting there by submarine for traffic victims, maybe for people who didn't want to be known going to the island, of course. On July 6, 2019, Epstein arrived at an airport in New Jersey. 6 days later, Terramar announced it was closing. Immediately, no explanation. Website dark, phone disconnected. Why would Ocean Charity shut down the moment Epstein arrested? Maxwell disappeared for a year. FBI couldn't find her. Then they found her in New Hampshire. Convicted 21. But in July 2025, Maxwell moved from harsh federal facility in Florida to minimum security prison in Texas. Kind with outdoor recreation, no bars, regular clothing. Inmates call it Club Fed. Why is someone convicted of what she did getting transferred to the most comfortable federal prison in the system? Congressional investigators asked. Justice Department declined to comment. Here's what no one can find. The logs for Plan B's submarine. Private submarines don't require the same documentation as aircraft. If someone used that submarine to move between international waters and the island, there'd be no record. FBI won't say if they ever looked. Ted Waite sold the yacht, never spoke in public, declined all interview requests. How many people used the submarine? How many walked through the underground entrance and went back to their normal lives? And why, after everything Maxwell convicted of, is she now in the most comfortable prison in America? There's something in the FBI files, something about the 9-hour meeting in July 2025, something about what Maxwell knows, and something about why powerful people might want to keep her comfortable. Full investigation, including the blackmail attempt, what happened to the billionaire, why her father died on a yacht named after her, continues in the first comment. We'll go through it another time because it's long. But the point is, guys, there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more coming. So be ready. be ready. I don't think the real stuff has really hit yet. And what they're doing right now, all this fighting over the redactions, everything is because they are panicked and they know that the DOJ, actually has the goods. And they are letting a little bit out at a time to start waking up the people, get the people paying attention. And the Trump administration, this is the time when the Democrats, the Thomas Massey types, the America First psyopers, this is what they're doing. They are going full tilt using this reductions, this whole narrative to hurt the Trump administration and try to take down the DOJ with Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all the people in charge of this justice. They're trying to ruin it and break the trust with them and tear it all down before the final stuff comes out. That's what I think's going on. I have a feeling the next round is going to be wild. Absolutely wild. Let me look at the files here. Tammy going on about, I don't know what you're talking about, Tammy. I really don't. All I've done is gone through the files with Bannon. I don't know what you're so upset about. All I've done is gone through the conversations between Bannon and Epstein. And all I've come at is the angle of Bannon looking like he's sabotaging Trump. I haven't said anything about Bannon being a pedophile, so I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I feel like you're mad about something and you just actually haven't watched the videos. Cindy Lou says, bankers, CEOs, financial institutions, billionaires, Wall Street would bring it down, but it hurts Main Street. Is that why Bondi brought it up? You know, it's a good question. There are people who believe that Bondi was using that to signal something, and then the Dow went down today. So it could be she was signaling something. Bondi's very smart. She is not a dumb blonde. When you watch her actually talk, she kind of has that, like, she has a way of talking. It's almost like Trump. You know, Trump has a way of talking where if you catch him in the wrong moment, it sounds dumb, but then you just watch him over time and how he handles everything, and he's just brilliant. Bondi's the same way. Sometimes she says stuff in a way that it's kind of like, ugh, that didn't sound so great. But then the way she comes out with stuff, she's very smart. There's no way she would have gotten to where she is if she's not. So, but I don't know. I can't say on the line about the Dow. David says, if it wasn't for Trump, those files would have never seen the light of day. Hell yeah. I mean, exactly. Exactly. Jesus Saves asked, did they all search their own names? Well, we don't know. But here's the deal. It's 3 million files, so nobody's gone through all of them, right? So the redactions do prohibit like me and you from certain searches. Like if we search something and they're redacted, it won't come up. But in this instance, they could search for that. So would they search their own names? If they knew Jeffrey, they might be like, oh my God, we need to see if we're actually in here. We need to see if they have this email that I spoke to Jeffrey when I did this. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense they would do that. And so we don't know though. It's like Bondi didn't drop those receipts. She just kind of hinted that she had them by the way she was talking. She didn't call out anybody for searching their own name or anything like that. But the question is like, the reality is they are recorded. So what were they all searching? It will tell you a lot. Tokram says, think of the movies and documentaries made in the years to come. 100%. Jesus Saves says, tunnels are underground in oceans. Yes, they can be. Moody, hope they have something on Carney and Trudeau. I would not be surprised at all if that starts coming out. How am I a black pill to Trump? What are you talking about? I just think, what? What? All right, so 88% of people that responded to the poll say that they believe it's a setup by Trump versus a cover-up. I love it. All right, the next question I have to ask you guys, because I'm being accused here, is for all you people who've been watching for such a long time, am I a black pillar? Specifically with the Trump administration, am I a black pillar? You guys answer and let me know. Hey, some killed it. Oh, okay, Tammy, you got to just be playing at this point, huh? Are you joshing me? Are you joshing me? I'm killing the midterms. You're hilarious. Dirty Red says, just got in a hit like, am I in the outs with my wife? I'm late or early a lot. No, I'm not. My wife and I are doing great. We are doing great. In fact, I had a great hour and a half with her before I came on tonight. So, no, my wife and I are doing as good as we've ever done. 17 years strong, man. Love each other. I don't know what Tammy's doing. She's either messing with me or I don't know. What are you doing, Tammy? Thing is, I know a couple of Tammys and I love them, but I can't tell if this is one of them because the stupid way that YouTube now shows your guys' names. I can't tell if it's one of the people Tammys I know, and she's messing with me. But me blackpilling. I mean, wait, hold on. Out of the votes, so far 21 votes. One person has voted yes, I'm a black pillar. So apparently I haven't convinced everybody, but maybe that was just Tammy voting that. Listen. All right. Man, guys, I got to tell you, my shows have been long lately because there's been so freaking much to go through. But listen, I'm just laughing over this whole black pill thing. Cindy says, been watching you since you started in your car on your phone, not a black pillar. Yeah, I think I can be called a lot of stuff. A lot of people could call me an idiot, a joke, a loser, a fraud, a liar. And I'd be like, you can all believe that. Maybe you disagree with something I said, and that's why you believe that. Okay, but a black pillar? That's the first time I've ever been called that in my entire life. My nickname, when I worked at Logan's Roadhouse in college, my nickname was Optimist Prime. So I just... And the guy who gave me that nickname, I nicknamed Negatron. I'm not even kidding that. So I'm saying, by a black pillar. I'm the guy who called out Trump was going to win the election like 10 months ahead of time. So listen, man, I have so much hope. I'm the guy telling everybody right now, after all we've seen, that I actually believe in all of this. Trump's going to come out on top again. I believe that this is a setup. I believe they're rolling things out on purpose. I believe just like Trump rug pulled them in December, there's going to be another rug pull at some point. I just don't know what it's going to look like. This is not Trump 1. This is not Trump term 1. When Trump had his entire cabinet was full of people that were trying to sabotage him, especially on the Republican side. That was Trump term 1. This is Trump term 2, which he had 4 years to prepare for. He picked his army. They are loyal to him, and they are true. There's been a couple small mistakes like Mike Waltz, but he corrected that quick. They're going to win. And I'm telling you right now that I think a lot of people are going to be proven wrong on Pam Bondi. Isn't it interesting? Ask yourself this. Isn't it interesting that the Attorney General, the person most responsible in the entire administration for administering justice, in a time when we all know there's a whole bunch of frauds, there's a whole bunch of corruption, there's a whole bunch of people need to be taken down, she's got that job. You would think this was like Trump's top 5 most important appointments, along with J.D. Vance, with VP, Secretary of State for Foreign Policy, Treasury Secretary for the Economy, like the things that need to be fixed most. Attorney General's right there. You really think he would have made a mistake with that? You really think after the 4 years and all the other good choices he made, he would have made a mistake with the Attorney General? I just don't buy it. And I get why people get frustrated sometimes. I do. But I'm telling you, I think there's a reason she is being attacked more than anybody else. And I think it's because they are terrified of her. That's what I actually think is happening. I mean, here comes Trump today on Bondi. Just when all the America First psyopers are going hardcore after what a disaster she is, he does this. AG Pam Bondi under intense fire from the Trump deranged radical left lunatics. Fantastic yesterday's hearing on the never-ending saga of Jeffrey Epstein, where the one thing been proven conclusively, much to their chagrin, was that President Donald J. Trump has been 100% exonerated of the ridiculous Russia type charges. Actually, it's the slimeball Democrats, many of them big donors and politicians, that have been proven guilty. Republican loser, sanctimonious rhino Congressman Thomas Massie made a total fool of himself yesterday, fighting aimlessly against a hopeless agenda of hate and stupidity, as most clearly stated by his crashing job approval numbers in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, where a military hero opponent, Al Galrain, is crushing him in the polls. He is now in wacky Liz Cheney territory. Nobody cared about Epstein when he was alive. They only cared about him when they thought he could create political harm to a very popular president who's brought our country back from the brink of extinction. By the way, fact check true there. Nobody cared about Epstein under the Obama administration or under the Biden administration. In the political sphere anyways. Very quickly at that, in fact, this attempt by the Democrats to take away attention from tremendous Republican success is backfiring badly. Maybe they should focus on their quest to open our borders to the world's greatest criminals, have transgender for everybody, or get men, no matter their size or strength, to play in women's sports. God dang it. He is so funny. He is so funny. But anyways, he comes out, man, every single time Pam Bondi's under fire. Trump, like, he doesn't just support her. It's not like with Kristi Noem, who did kind of screw up in Minnesota. Trump backed her, but you could also tell he was kind of upset with her. She didn't get to talk in the cabinet meeting. He did say he's supporting her. He's not going to fire her for a few reasons, but I think Kristi Noem's loyal. So even though she made a mistake, he'll keep her on. But it's interesting because every time Bondi's attacked like this and someone comes out with Bondi, Trump blasts posts out about what a great job she's doing. He makes it clear over and over again that he trusts Bondi. So, Ham knows what Bondi is. Tammy, you haven't even said what you disagree with me on. I mean, come on. You haven't even said what you disagree with me on. You just called me a black pillar, and you said some gobbledygook about Bannon and 21-year-olds without any. Could you actually lay out what you disagree with me on, please? Thank you, Jesus Saves. Appreciate you. Dirty says Trump did first time with Sessions. Oh man, Trump screwed up huge in his first term with some of his picks. We know that. And we know why. Trump got in, okay. He had his agenda, and he knew the Democrats were rotten to the core. He didn't know how bad the Republicans were yet. And so the Republicans, the uniparty Republicans, they came in with Trump and they cozied on up to him, and they let the system come in and they said, Donald, you're now the president. We're going to help. We're going to figure it all out for you. We're going to get it running for you so you can sit back and lead. And they made all the picks. They would bring him and they'd be like, here, you pick this, you pick this. But they were like, why do you think he ended up with Mike Pence? Traitor. So yeah, not all of his picks were bad. He had some good ones, but he also had a bunch of bad ones, but they were all chosen by the uniparty establishment. And Trump found out how rotten the Republican Party was on the inside when he was there. And it all climaxed with the impeachment over January 6th, right before he left office, when he got to see all the Republicans who betrayed him with their vote. And he never forgot. And so comparing Trump's picks like Sessions or Barr to his pick of Bondi, it's night and day. Trump had 4 years to find loyalists, to go through the records, to comb through everybody. Loyalty is huge to Trump, guys. Absolutely huge to Trump. He does not play games with that. You cross him, you're done forever. So loyalty matters first. And he went through and he found everybody who, he was like, nope. And that's why his cabinet is considered so radical right now, because they are. The Democrats and Republicans hate his current cabinet. The one exception is Rubio. But Rubio, it was a neocon, but he wasn't establishment. He was too young. He was fresh-faced. He just was a neocon because he grew up in the Cuban community and hated communism. So naturally you become a Reaganite, which those all kind of poured into the neocons because of the Bush years. But Rubio saw the light. And look what Rubio's doing now. He's freaking awesome. The Republicans thought they could pull one over Trump when they voted in Rubio, and now they regret it. They regret it. But everybody else barely got through. And it's because they know they're not them. And Bondi's one of them. Bondi barely got through. So, Lochtefeld asks, what's up with Bill Barr supporting Al Galrein? Bill Barr, he's going to play games. He might even be trying to get on Trump's good side so Trump doesn't go after him, because Bill Barr he's rotten, man. He is rotten. He's bad news. He betrayed Trump egregiously. And he's also, his dad is the one who got Epstein started. So Bill Barr is directly connected to Epstein. He might be trying to get on Trump's good side so Trump doesn't ruin his life. Dirty Ass, is Epstein alive? In my opinion, no, I don't think he's alive, but I don't, obviously he didn't kill himself. I don't think he's alive. I know that there's that crazy stuff like his Fortnite account and then the stuff in Israel. But listen, a hacker could have easily got into his Fortnite account and messed with it. It's been 5-6 years since he died almost. And that there's lookalikes. It's like you can find somebody who looks like him and take a picture of it. It's, that guy did have a beard. He did look a lot like Epstein. I'm not going to lie. But then with the AI and now stuff, it's like, it's so hard to do. So, Toe says he had 4 years to plan, so term 2 is not like term 1. 100%. Absolutely. Dirty says, Ace in the future need to get a studio, like a newsroom sidekick like Batman, or be like the Brack cartoon. Or Des like ours. You don't like my background? Listen, man, I do this show in a small office. I used to do it in a closet. And before that, I used to do it on walks in the park. You guys remember? So listen, I've come a long way, bro. If I have to, listen, if I ever get to do this show full time, I will build out a studio. So I will. I'll build out a studio. And yeah, but that's a dream that I'm nowhere close to achieving right now. This, I'm nowhere close to being able to support my family on this show. Nowhere close. I mean, not even. This show would have to increase 10 times in revenue just for me to replace my income right now. So I could quit my job. So I don't drink anymore. I still have beers here and there. Yeah, but not like I used to. David says it's very likely he's alive, making Kelly seems confident. I mean, that's great. If she does, that's awesome. Out of the closet, says David. That's correct. What grown-ass man has a Fortnite account? I don't know. Who would have a Fortnite account, Toe? Not anybody I know. Not me. St. Patrick's is coming in a month. I'll probably have some beer this weekend, actually. I've been doing very good. I've lost 5 pounds already this year. And I got 50 more to go. Closet days were good, says Bird Dog. Thank you very much. Linda Goy says, Card said he saw Epstein being switched. I do think he was switched. I do. I mean, there's so weird pictures with the body and stuff, but that doesn't mean he's alive. I don't know, guys. I will say I don't know. It's not like I feel 100% about it. I don't even feel 90% about it. I feel 60% about it. I say 60% he's dead. So that's where I'm at. Tammy asks, why did Steve Bannon do prison time for Trump? Well, first of all, he didn't do it for Trump. Okay. He did it for himself as well because he didn't want to testify. But listen, I already talked about this. Trump and Bannon it's mutually assured destruction. One cannot go after the other without destroying their career. Bannon going to prison, he had a choice. He could roll over on Trump or himself, or he could play the role and be like 3 months in prison, 4 months, whatever he did. He's like, I can do that. And then he comes out a hero. Bannon is smart, man. He is brilliant. He's always thinking ahead. The prison thing, I know it's definitely a point in the direction that he's good, but it also is not 100% proof. To me, the Epstein stuff's more damning, especially the fact that Bannon got fired from the first White House and was for talking to Michael Wolff. Trump told us that himself. That's actually more damning and stronger evidence to me than the fact Bannon didn't go for that. So I just answered you. David says YouTube seems to grow exponentially. It could happen quicker than you think. You never know. Yeah, who knows? But right now everybody hates me because I'm the only person actually doing videos on Steve Bannon, on the files of Steve Bannon, and I've been very clear. I'm not saying one way or the other what I think about Bannon, but I'm just saying that the files are bad and I want him to address them because they don't look good. But I'm the only one doing videos on Bannon. Is there a single other person breaking down all this Bannon stuff? I can't think of I haven't seen one other person doing it. And that's interesting, isn't it? It's like the influencer sphere, the Psyop sphere is all covering their own. Because I got to tell you, if people were honest and actually pursuing the news, the real news, people would be like me, just saying like, dude, you need to speak to this, Steve. Like, why are you not addressing this? This is massive story. You are supposed to be like the Trump guy, the MAGA guy of all influencers. It's supposed to be you. Why aren't you addressing this when you are in the files more than anybody else? That's all I'm asking for. Just address it, dude. I mean, we need to know this. We need to know. So load up on XRP and get my dream studio. Listen, if I listen to everybody who's told me to get into XRP, like last year when everybody was so convinced it would run and it was like 290, I'd be down 60% right now. So I'm not so ready to jump into XRP right now yet, even though I know it's a good time to buy probably. I do think XRP will do something eventually. I just haven't seen the reasons why it's yet. So D6 asks, why isn't anyone in the MSM, especially the left, called out Bannon? You would think that the left would seize the opportunity to destroy one of the number one people who is known for leading in MAGA. You would think so, right? I mean, the silence is crazy. It is. It's crazy. David, maybe when the economy turns around, I'm proven right. I mean, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Dirty says, whatever happened to Snowden the leaker? Well, if you follow the Q post, Snowden was CIA all along. And it was everything he did was kind of a ruse. He's a bad guy. And I kind of lean towards that. I haven't seen Snowden do anything good since. In fact, he's come out against and said stuff against Trump. Whereas Assange, on the other hand, is a legit hero. Christina says, that says more about other people than me. We're coming from a balanced, grounded outlook when they seem like salacious lies, rabbit holes, and propaganda. 100%. I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just trying to tell, I believe the Trump administration is the most important thing for moving forward for America. I think we are in a time of change that God has ordained and given us a chance if we take it. I believe it's that important. And so I literally believe the most important thing in the world right now is what's going on with the Trump administration, what they are accomplishing worldwide and here. I think that's the most important thing in the world. And so everything I cover leads to that somehow, because that is the most important thing. Helping people understand what's really going on is the most important thing. And the Epstein files are a major part of that, because the psyop around it is insane. And so the fact that that is true and everybody's covering Epstein, everybody's talking about it, and nobody's talking about Bannon is very, very interesting. Linda Guy says, Trump said Russia released another hostage after the one shown in the Oval Office. Could it be Snowden? I don't know. I doubt it. Snowden wasn't a hostage. He lives there freely. Yeah, we'll see. He would have to, in order to come here, he would have to be pardoned first. Otherwise, legally, he would have to be detained when he came. We need Clarity Act to jump in XRP. Okay, well, I'll wait for that. David says, what excuses do you think the left will make once the economy is booming under Trump? They're already making the excuses. It's like once something gets good, they just point to the only thing that's bad. And that's what they'll continue to do. They'll do what they've always done. Healthcare is still too high. The wealth gap is still too much. Billionaires are still making too much money. It'll always be an impossible hurdle to climb. And they'll always make that the new goalpost. So it'll always be moving the goalpost. That's what they'll do. They're the same as libertarians, libertards, as I like to call them. Libertards always move the goalposts because progress is never enough for a libertard. It's always all or nothing, and they'll never get all because it's impossible. You can't fulfill a libertarian's dream to see in our country because of the Constitution, because Constitution demands process. And for libertarians, process, screw process. We just want what we want. So libertarians would never admit this, but secretly they all want authoritarianism because that's the only way to get what they want. And that'll never happen. David says, didn't know anything about Q and I felt Snowden was an op. CIA op. Yep. Yeah, you're right. I should get a few hundred XRP. I did hold some for a while and then I traded out when it was plunging and I did end up in the green, but barely. Yeah, I don't know if Assange is going to come back, man. It almost killed him being in that prison in England. They almost killed him. I think he's worn down and he's just looking to stay out now. I think they broke him. I really do. Bannon's like Michael Cohen. He might well be. You're doing what you're doing with drag someone over the line. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, I'm not going to change. Oh, I'm still in the market. Yeah, I have some UVXY. I'm betting against the market right now, holding that. And I got some fingers still, and I still have some GTII tied up, but I'm not as interested as I used to be. I'm kind of just playing the long game more now. David says even heaven has government. That's right. The number 12 in the Bible is the number for government. 12 tribes of Israel, 12 disciples. So yes, God is all about government all the time. Jesus is a king. It's government. And it says the government will rest upon his shoulders. So amen to that. All right, guys, 2-hour show tonight. Wow. Went long. Well, listen, I love you guys. I really do. I appreciate you watching. You guys are the best. Let's see the final poll. Wow. So out of 32 votes, 9% said I was a black pillar. So what is that? 3 votes? 3 votes thought I was a black pillar? What the hey? That's disgusting. I gotta get better here. Oh man, no, 91%. I'll take that all day. That means, people understand me. Okay. Listen, love you guys. Appreciate you. Let's end in a prayer tonight. I'll probably take tomorrow off and most likely Saturday as well. Probably see you guys Sunday unless we get something crazy. Unless we get something like Iran strike or some new Epstein files or something, then obviously I'll have to do an emergency live. But, in 2 weeks we got the State of the Union. So that'll be a big show. That'll be fun. Anyways, love you guys. Appreciate you. Let's end in a prayer. Call tonight because our prayers are working. God's winning. We're winning. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody watching. Thank you for them, Lord. Thank you for their support and just their interactions, their friendships, their community. I love it and appreciate all of them. Father, I pray, God, for President Trump and his team. I pray you give them wisdom and boldness to carry out everything they need to do. And Lord, continue to protect them. I can't imagine how much they are under constant threat. So bless them, Lord, with protection. And we thank you for keeping them safe so far. And we just pray that in Jesus' name. And Lord, bless our nation. We pray for prosperity, peace, and justice come back to our nation in a bigger, better way than ever before. But we thank you for progress as well and how far we've already come. I pray, God, we just continue to see miracles and things nobody ever thought would happen. And God, that we just keep winning, moving forward, taking the culture back and our nation back. And we actually do get to experience and see a true golden age. And then we can leave a better country to our kids and grandkids. Again, bless everybody here. And thank you for all you do for us, Lord. Thank you for the miracle of the Trump administration and what it's given us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Love you guys. Have a blessed night. Thank you again so much. And listen, if you think about it, please please subscribe. And if you want to support the channel and be a part of the community in the Patreon and in the Discord, think about joining. Go into that description right now, click that link, go to the Patreon, and get a free month, and then see if it's something you want to be a part of. And hey, someday enough of you do it, I might be able to give you all day content. How's that? Or maybe I'll just get on my Fortnite account for you, Toe Cramp. You and I can play. All right. Anyways, love you guys. God bless you. Have a great night. Tammy, I agree with you. Trump was a whistleblower. I've already done videos on that. So God bless you guys. Love you. Good night.
Headlines screaming like a siren and